there. I wish they would change that horrible,
Oh, it's a lovely
doesn't
voice.
it? I know.
Recording in progress.
Quite so, absolutely. Now we have on the call who's Chippy, and James Gamani, and they probably won't use their videos because the internet access from Malawi is always a little fragile. But James and Chippy, do you just want to say hi again? Because we've got a screen full of people now, please.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is James Gomani in Malawi. And my colleague Chibi, I'm not sure if Chibi has joined.
Yeah, he has. He said hello a little
Yes,
while
I'm
ago.
here.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So
So you're
Chibi
both,
can make an introduction.
yeah. So
Hi everyone. My name is
hi.
Chippy from Malawi as well.
Good
Absolutely.
evening.
Hello.
It's
Hello.
great to have you with us, and let's hope that the internet holds out for us. James and Chippy are both Gumby Education Fund beneficiaries who've had their secondary and tertiary education funded by the Gumby Education Fund, and they're both. And it's just as well, they're not showing their faces because they feel embarrassed, but they are truly wonderful people. And it's been a great joy for me to work with them both all this year, and making a huge difference to their communities. So this appeal is going really well, actually. And I expect there are more donations in today, Patrick, actually, but we've had at least £1,600 through, and I suspect it's more than that. So that's great. But I would very much like us to increase it still further, as you'll hear later, the situation in Gumbi, and it is a national disaster. The government has declared a national food disaster in Malawi. Needs a great deal of support. It does seem incredibly unfair, and the main purpose of convening this meeting was just to try and explain to you the paradox, really, that we've had the most amazingly wonderful year at the Permaculture Community Training Centre, and yet the community is facing acute hunger over the next 3 months or so until the harvest comes through in hopefully April. So that's the background to the meeting, really. And I'm going to start by sharing with you some very positive slides so that you can see how all the money that ACAN donors have given to Gumby has been spent this year, and all the progress that's been made, because it has been quite an incredible year. And then I'll ask James and Chippy to explain why the community is so short of food just at the moment, despite all this progress. And then you can ask questions. So that's the plan for the meeting. So I'm now going to share some slides, I hope. Here we are. Hopefully that will work. Can you see those, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. Okay, then. So I'll just whiz through these at relatively high speed because I want James and Chippy to have plenty of time. So as you all know, the Gumby Permaculture Community Training Centre, which many of you who have been involved for a long time will remember as the Gumby Autumn Permaculture Project, but now has a title that more properly describes its purpose, is ACAN's Climate Justice Project. And I'm going to start off by sharing this wonderful sign that was painted not many months ago.
I saw that. It's pretty good.
Sorry?
Yeah, I said I saw that. It's very, very good.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. Next to the gate. And you will see the ACAN logo there. I hope you can all
Yeah.
see that. 4,000 miles away, hand painted. Pretty well done, I think, alongside the Gumby Education Fund logo. And the PCTC logo is the triquetra, which is an ancient symbol of unity and continuity, which we thought was very appropriate for our purpose. My next slide is a somewhat sobering one, but it's important for you all to have this context. According to UN statistics, Malawi is the fourth poorest country in the world, and 2/3 of the population live in food poverty year round. They're either food insecure or facing hunger. But the 22 million Malawians are responsible for less than 0.04% of global greenhouse gas emissions. One of the main reasons, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons they live in such acute food poverty is due to climate breakdown and drought in particular, which of course is caused by us in rich countries. And it's been a long-standing belief of ACAN that all climate groups in the UK should support a climate justice project such as this. And ACAN donors have been truly magnificent. I mean, we've donated about 45,000 to GAP and then PCTC over the last 4 years. And more recently, we've been raising funding from grant-giving trusts as well, about 10,000 so far. So that's just, as I say, some sobering statistics, and it's why I feel so passionately about our support for GUMBI. So we've had a great year. So this very happy picture is of the training team from the Permaculture Community Centre with their certificates at the Permaculture Paradise Institute. Some of you will remember Luea Biswick giving presentations to us in the past. So the team went over for a Training the Trainers course back in April. And that led us to, and this has been our mission for a long time, purpose for a long time, to actually run our own training courses. So we've now run 2 in August and October, led by Martin, the lead farmer. You can see there a picture of the refurbished indoor classroom and some outdoor work, and a lovely photo of one of the cohorts in front of that sign with their certificate of course completion. And I'm delighted to say that we've very recently been awarded a grant by the Margaret Hayman Charitable Trust, an environmental justice charity, who will be funding 4 more courses in 2026. So that's brilliant. So just a bit of an overview of all that's been going on at the farm. It's now properly fenced, it's gated. There's a lovely picture here of Martin making beehives, and very recent news, some bees have arrived to take up residence in one of Martin's very impressive hives, which is great. There's been a lot of replanting and cultivation on the farm. And I just have to show you this little sequence on the left of Martin using waste flip chart paper from the first training course and making it into fuel briquettes, which he then used to make his sema porridge. And no one told him to do this, he just did it. And I sent this off to the director of the African Social Enterprise Workshop because I was so impressed. And he said it was just an absolutely brilliant example of the circular economy. So there you are. So other things of progress at the farm this year, thanks to a major donor who's been incredibly supportive. We now have a virtually unique kitchen, I think, in Malawi, which is solar powered with induction stoves. And we generate a lot of solar power. So set up a solar energy centre where people can come and charge their devices. There's an outdoor classroom as well as an indoor classroom, and the 4 rondavels, the traditional roundhouses you can see in the background there, are now fully fitted out and being used. We've put in more water storage, a fish pond for food, and a composting toilet. Very recently, we had a grant from the Friends of Malawi Association, which part funded a motorbike, which Martin and the team are very proud of, and this has revolutionized their ability to reach out to all the farmers who've been trained and visit them, follow up with them. This photo is a bit out of date. I think this has been finished now, but there's a rather beautiful palace, I call it, for pigs being constructed. So, and Chippy's in the process of acquiring good quality pigs for us there. And then photos on the right show a recent learning visit. So you can see the recognition and status that the PCTC is now achieving. This was a learning visit from sisters from Strathmore University Business School, which is based in Kenya, coming over to see what we are up to. And I had to include this photo bottom right because it shows James in his suit, very smart, because he was receiving the visitors. So we've also got going on a huge community woodland planting scheme, which was launched by the Gumbi chief and encompasses, I think, 15 villages and is going really well. I think about 150,000 trees will be planted. And then coming right up to date, today and tomorrow, training is underway on deep bed farming. Now, this would be a subject of a completely new talk, and I haven't got time to give it. But just for ACAN colleagues, this is ACAN at its best, because it was Ali from Headley Can who, at a meeting of climate action networks down in the New Forest, met the UK founder and chair of TEAMI and said, "You must have heard of GUMBI," and he hadn't. So put us both in touch with each other. And it's transpires that TEAMI doing this huge charity in Malawi, using deep bed farming to improve yields. And so with the team out there being trained today and tomorrow, which is just amazing. So there we are. PCTC is now registered as a social enterprise in Malawi, and it will soon have its own bank account as well. So you can see we're really coming of age as an important centre for transforming farming across the local community, which is about 15,000 people, James tells me, scattered across quite a large numbers of people. And to conclude, we are now on the international stage because James Gamani gave a speech at the African Social Enterprise Workshop Sustaining Impact Conference at the end of August, which was very well received. So there's a quick overview of how ACAN donors' money has been used, and I hope you feel as uplifted by that as I do. But as I say, it is a deep paradox that despite all this progress, the community is facing extreme hunger at the moment. So James and Chippy, I'll hand over to you to explain that, if that's okay, and I'll stop sharing at that point. There we are. James, are you there?
Yes, thank you so much, Jenny, for sharing very few highlights of what we have achieved in this year, 2025. As you have already put it, despite the community facing hunger, we are very happy with this progress because, yes, we know with the aim of PCTC, I know we'll make sure that we solve this food insecurity in a year or 2 years to come. So from me and Chippy, just make a very brief explanation as to why we have got this hunger situation in Malawi. And I'll touch on the economic challenges, and my colleague Chippy will touch on the climate challenges that have contributed to this hunger situation in Malawi. So on the part of economic challenges, I can say after we were hit by COVID-19, that was from 2019 to 2020. That was, I think the climax was 2020. Small economies like Malawi have really struggled to make a comeback from that pandemic because everything was not on point, and the macroeconomic and microeconomic variables were just all disturbed. So since 2019, as a country, we have struggled in terms of hunger and economic challenges at large. So with government failing to import enough fertilizers, this has hit the country very hard because now the country has no forex. So it means we rely on our agriculture system relies on importing fertilizers from countries abroad. But then with government not having enough money, they cannot import fertilizers, and it means more farmers cannot have enough yields, and that has worsened the hunger situation in Malawi. I understand the government has tried to do what they call farm input subsidy, where they do distribute fertilizers to very few farmers, but then it's just very few farmers. So it means in a village of maybe 2,000 people, 100 people get fertilizers, and that means the impact is very, very low. So that affects like a lot of people. So as I've already put it, because of the economic challenges, even the government itself is failing to import fertilizers. And that's why us as peace.
Fertilizers.
Can you put yourself on mute, please, Margaret? Sorry, James.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. He's trying to do
Can I
you
carry on?
on? Yeah, you carry on. Thanks.
All right. So I was saying, with government failing to import enough fertilizers for the whole nation, it means definitely crops yields have become significantly low, because a lot of farmers maybe cannot access fertilizers. But because of the same economic challenges, fertilizers have become expensive, that common farmers cannot manage to buy fertilizers from shops, and that means a lot of challenges. So maybe just as I'm explaining this point, that's where maybe you see as PCTC, we are coming in to train farmers not to rely on fertilizers, because yes, the government cannot export fertilizers. Yes, farmers cannot manage to access fertilizers because they've become quite expensive. But then we do have resources, like if people rely on manure, they should be able to harvest their crops. And that's why as PCTC, we are coming in to train farmers not to rely on fertilizers, because, we are very sure that even if the government works very hard on importing fertilizers, but I'm sure they'll not be able to meet the demand, because there's just too much, a lot of people who need fertilizers, and realistically, government will not manage to do that. So us as PCTC are coming in to train farmers, not relying on fertilizers. We understand that to make this transformation, where we're training farmers not to rely on fertilizers, but now to rely on manure and diversify their crops, we have to be a bit patient, because it also involves mindset change, because maybe people are used to fertilizers, and then if you tell them do not rely on fertilizers, that requires a bit of mindset change, of which we as PCTC are promoting that in the communities, to train farmers to say, hey, even if the government cannot manage to import the fertilizers, even if you cannot manage to buy fertilizers because they've become expensive, but here is the way: rely on manure. And we're very happy that now people are adapting to type of permaculture. And I know Jenny at one point to share the photos of several farmers that we have trained. Their gardens are just doing very well with type of permaculture. So what it simply tells is, much as we understand that we have got these maybe economic challenges, government cannot import fertilizers, farmers cannot buy fertilizers because they've become expensive, but we have resources. There is a way people can learn manure, and it's possible. And that's why as PCTC, we are implementing that. I think my friend Chippy can come in to shed more light on the climate related challenges. So Chippy, you can come in.
Okay, thank you. Hello everyone.
Hi.
I'm Chippy. Malawi is experiencing climate change crisis. Like in the past years, we have had prolonged droughts, erratic rainfall, and dry spells. All these have significantly reduced the crop yield. In the context of climate change crisis, Still more farmers are relying on one crop, which is maize, as staple food. So as PCTC, we are coming in to train farmers to diversify their crops, to diversify food crops, so that they cannot rely on one crop, which is maize as a staple food, but have cultivating or growing many different crops, so that if one crop fails, they can rely on the other crop. So Malawi as well relies on rain-fed agriculture, making it very vulnerable to climate change shocks. Like in the past growing season, rainfall was not sufficient for the crops to do well. Therefore, farmers harvested very little, and this is why now we are experiencing this challenge. So as PCTC, we are trying to train farmers to adapt to climate change, so that they can harvest more and more to prevent food insecurity. In addition, in Malawi, we do not value much irrigation systems, because irrigation systems helps to harvest twice or 3 times in a year. But because of farmers cannot afford to buy maybe equipment for irrigations, this forces them to rely on rain-fed agriculture. So climate change has hugely contributed to this challenge, as we are failing to adapt, since farmers are still practicing primitive ways of agriculture instead of adapting to modern ways. Therefore, as PCTC, we are now trying to train farmers to adapt to these modern ways of growing crops, mainly organic farming. Because as James has just highlighted, many farmers cannot afford to buy inorganic fertilizers, since things are not okay in terms of financial status. We are not safe as a country. This is why we are pleading for your help. I think I can talk up to that point. If I've forgotten something, maybe James can add on that.
No, Chip, I think you have put it like lightly, like now in summary. These economic and climate change challenges have really affected our area. But as we have put it, much as we understand this is, a very bad situation, but the coming of PCTC gives us hope that in a year or 2 years to come, the situation won't be the same, because if people adapt permaculture type of system, then they'll be able to harvest in the face of these climate changes. I know climate change has hit everywhere in the world, but maybe what is important for our communities to adapt to such type of shocks. So as PCTC, yes, there's this hunger, but we are very optimistic that in a year or 2 years to come, the situation will really improve, because people will adapt to these shocks. So we are purposely targeting old people, because old people now are the most vulnerable. They don't have energy to go in their fields and do something, or have any source of income. So we are targeting actually 500 households, but with type of extended families in Malawi, even if we are targeting 500 households, but we know it means we'll reach out to several individuals. So in short, 500 households is a quite significant number in our community, and we are making this appeal, and at the end of the day, we want to help our people not to die with hunger, but that is to come out of this situation while we are doing something in the background in form of permaculture community training center. Reaching there, I think I can stop there, and then if there are questions, they can come forward. We'll be able to pick those questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, James. Thank you both. It's very, very clear what you said, I think. And I mean, just to say, there's a total determination and solidarity and community spirit out in the Gumbi community, and the way that Edwin, the chief, has led his colleagues, the other group village headmen, over the last year to bring the whole community together to really kickstart the spread of permaculture across the community. The spread of these sustainable methods that James and Chippy have described has been outstanding. So we will get there. Questions from anyone for James and Chippy, or comments indeed?
I've got a question.
Yeah, hello, Rod. Right.
Hi, James, Chippy. Good evening. Question I've got is: has the reduction or withdrawal of international aid by various countries affected you a lot? Why is Jenny laughing at that?
Because I know the answer. Yes.
Come again, sorry, I
We
didn't get
should
the
have
question.
mentioned that, really, shouldn't we? James?
Yeah, I'm saying I didn't get the question, sorry.
The question was, has the reduction or withdrawal of international aid to Malawi and other countries, but to Malawi, affected or worsened the situation this year?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think one of our main partners, USAID, and USAID just withdraw from our country, and it means significant funding that was going towards, helping the agriculture sector was withdrawn, and definitely that has hit the country so bad. So yes, the withdrawal of the funding has affected the country a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely right to say that. Yeah. Other
Yeah.
questions, points at all? Have we made things clear to you all?
Sorry, Jenny, just to ask another question.
Sure.
Is it noticeable that droughts are getting worse in Malawi and Africa? Is this year an aberration, or is it happening more and more and more often?
Chippy? Or James?
Yes. In fact, the situation is just like going worse, from better to worse. But I understand now, because of the situation going to worse, I think so many organizations are coming up to train farmers with type of sustainable agriculture. Just as Jenny said it, apart from us, like PCTC training farmers, but organizations like TNE, the ones that are training us on deep bed farming, are also coming in to train farmers on how best they can adapt to challenges of climate change. So yes, you are right. The situation has been worsening from year to year, but I think with the coming up of several organizations coming up to address these challenges of climate change, I'm sure the situation will improve in the near future.
I think it's worth saying that from what I've read from the Malawian government and other reports like the International Red Cross, this year, the drought this year, the impact on crop yields this year is the worst for 7 years. So it's the worst in our association with the Gumbi community, which is about 4 or 5 years. And it's partly because last year, in addition to the impact of the climate breakdown, was an El Nino year.
Yes, exactly.
And that worsens the situation in Malawi and many other countries, doesn't it? So I think that's why it seems to be much worse this year than it has been in the previous years that we have been associated with this community. We haven't had to launch an appeal like this before. We did for a bad storm, I remember, a few years ago when a lot of houses were damaged, but not for hunger. And I think the combination of last winter's very severe drought due to climate and El Nino, and the point that Rod made, the withdrawal of US and other aid, actually, the combination is just a perfect storm, as they say. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Leslie, you're on mute now.
Yeah. I'm very impressed with all the work that's been going on the farm, and amazing how much you've got growing. I'm intrigued by the trees. You're growing an enormous number of tree seedlings.
Yeah.
Are these food trees, or are they for timber, for fuel, for fires? What do you expect to use them for?
Which of you would like to answer that?
Yeah, I can answer that. So we are combining both fruit trees and trees for timber. But our focus has been encouraging the communities to plant more fruit trees because, apart from them being trees, but they also provide food. So, yeah, much as we're encouraging the community to plant both fruit trees and other ordinary trees, but we're mainly encouraging the community to plant fruit trees because of their several benefits.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Just to add.
Yes, Chippy.
And some of the trees improves the soil fertility. So we are also adding those types of trees.
Yeah.
And
the community has harvested the seeds themselves this year. I am right in saying, aren't I, Chippy? Yeah, and planted.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah. So it's quite an achievement, actually, and it's been rolled out. It just shows you how well organized this community is now. It's been rolled out through the group village headman right across all these different villages. And Martin and team have been tearing around. Sorry, they have been going around on their motorbike, checking up on progress recently.
Yeah, and I think one of the most important things that we have noticed in our community is that everyone is more concerned with climate change. And when we go to the community and tell them to say, hey, look, the climate change, you can feel the impact. Now let's do this to adapt to these challenges. And then you see the community showing a lot of solidarity coming in. And as Jen has put it, the tree planting exercise, I think, was just launched like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But the support that it has received, it's like something is so encouraging.
Absolutely, yeah. We are picking up Leslie's point about growing trees for fuel. This is something that the community wishes to reduce, and Chippy in particular, I think, is investigating solar type of cooking. I mean, we can't obviously replicate the incredibly expensive solar powered stoves that are in the kitchen at a PCTC, but there's a very low tech alternative called a Cook It, isn't there, Chippy, which you're trialing or going to be trialing soon to see if it works. Yeah,
you are right, because in Malawi 90% of people relies on firewood for cooking as their source of energy. So as PCTC, we are not happy with that, because the environment is disturbed as we destroy, harvest all the trees.
yeah.
So as a remedy, we are now trying to find out if we can use a cook it for cooking. So now, I think in the next 2 weeks, we'll be done with this project, and then we can distribute in the community.
Brilliant. It involves aluminium foil, basically.
Yeah.
Jenny, can I ask a question?
You certainly can, Caris.
Sorry, I'm new to you all. Well, hello. So excuse me that I don't know, but is Gumbi like a region that encompasses those 15 villages? So the project is those 15 villages, or is it smaller or larger than that?
James, I always manage to get this completely wrong. So would you like to explain, please?
All right. Gumbi is
Good question.
located within a district, a very big district, Lilongwe district, and
Mhm.
it's to the west of Lilongwe district. So the 15 villages that we're talking about should be in a traditional authority. Of course, the setup, I know it's different how like I know you set up the villages in the UK, but these villages are within one traditional authority, but in a Lilongwe district. So it's like an area, a catchment area.
So lots of small villages. And you'll have noticed that we're using terms like traditional authority, group village headman, chief, because this means of community organization is still very, very powerful in the positive sense of that in rural Malawi. So, and it's the way you get things done, is to work through that structure. Yeah, which I've learned
Yeah,
about
exactly.
this year. That's very good. And the Gumbi chief, the Gumbi village chief, Edwin, has been working as our project manager actually at PCTC and has done an incredibly important job. And he's also organising the distribution, isn't he, James, I think, of the maize that you're funding?
Yes, he'll be the team leader of
Yeah.
distributing this maize. Was being a chief, he also helps us to connect well with the villages and yeah.
So it's very interesting, yes. But I get told off if I talk about by James if I talk about the Gumbi district because it's not a district.
It's not a district.
It's an area, I think, but it's yes, about 50. Is it? No, 19 villages are on your list, aren't there?
19 villages in total, yes.
Yeah. But we use Gumbi because the original Gumbi Education Fund, and we wouldn't be involved in them without our partnership with them, goes back 20 years, was set up in 2002 by John Vidal, who died sadly a couple of years ago, at the time of the really horrendous famine in Gumbi when in Malawi when a lot of people died. Yeah, so that's the title goes back. But the Gumbi Education Fund supports school fees and a few education fees across these villages to this day. Any other questions or comments? You're muted. Muted. Unmute. That's it. Sorry, I asked you to mute earlier, I know. Struggling. You're still muted. I don't think I can do anything about that, can I?
No.
No. Still muted.
While we're waiting, can I ask a question?
Yes, of course, Francis. Yeah.
So yes, thank you, James and Chippy. That was very interesting. Just in terms of the timing, so I understand the critical period is now until about April. Is that correct? When you're expecting the next harvest? So it's the next 4 months that are really critical. Is that correct?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
So we're trying to raise as much money as possible by Christmas, by the end of December, to distribute the maize through January to March, in the hope that there will be a decent harvest in April. I think is that right, James?
Yes, in April.
Yeah, there has been some rain so far.
Yes, and we had rains just a few hours ago, so
Good.
we are in the rain season.
So as the rainy season should be from November to March, roughly?
Yes, November to March, but because of the same climate change, sometimes it starts in December, sometimes in January. Now it's just so unpredictable.
Yeah, unpredictable. I think last year there was no rain basically until January, if I remember rightly, at all.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So this year looks, fingers crossed, a little bit better in terms of rainfall so far. But Chippy made an important point about irrigation, and if we ever get lots and lots of money, we need to give all the homestead farmers solar water pumps. We've trialed one of these at PCTC. It makes a big, big difference to enable them to irrigate their land better. And that possibly combined with deep bed farming, which we'll have to have a different talk on some other time because it's a bit complicated. but might make a difference and enable the farmers to have 2 harvests a year. Yeah, that's the goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing. James Willis, I mean. James?
Can I just clarify? You've cut £1,600 donated so far. Has that money gone out? Is it buying maize? How long does it take to get them actually food arriving at the people?
It hasn't gone out, and I think ACAN, because of our constitution, has to donate the money to the GUMBI Education Fund, which then sends it out. So all ACAN donations go out via the GUMBI Education Fund, so we can only donate to another charity. Yeah, so that's the way the system has always worked. But I think, James, when we discussed this, because the GUMBI Education Fund is making its own donation, you suggested about the 20th of December. Is that right? That's what I've got in my head for the timing.
Yes. We suggested towards the end of December, which is 20th. Yes, that would be fine, because we were planning to buy the maize by the end of December or early January, because
for the 3 months we've just been talking about acute hunger. Yeah. So that's the plan.
Are people actually starving at the moment, or is it just on the way?
James, Chippy, did you hear the question? James was asking, are people actually starving at the moment?
How urgent is the
Is
the 20th of December going to be soon enough?
Like how urgent? Yes, December would be better, because I think the worst months would be January, February, and March. So if we can have money by January, early January, that would be helpful.
I think it would be fair to say that people are very hungry, James. So they're not filling their stomachs, if you like, but by January onwards, they will be starving. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
I think that's the thing. So, and people are in this community help each other out. So where there is resource, it's being shared, by those who can with those who can't. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Any other questions?
I think so. No. Good.
Good. Yeah, we've covered a wide range of very, very important subjects. I hope that's given you a bit of a feel for.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have we lost Chippy? We have.
Yeah, I think.
Yes, he did very well to last that long, actually.
Thank Chippy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a very active WhatsApp group, just so that you all know, and there are messages and photos flying around most days, sometimes several times a day, which is just brilliant. And if any of you are interested, I post very regularly on a Facebook page for PCTC. It's a group one, so you join that. It's a very good way of just keeping in touch. Pauline, you see all the posts on there, don't you? So I take a lot of the photos I get and put them up there just to keep in touch with what's going on out there. Some of you will have had I try and do a newsletter every couple of months just to update everybody as well. So thank you all so much for your support. I mean, the response to this appeal has been absolutely fantastic. It really has. Very, very moving. I'm very, very grateful to you all, and to those who are not here who have also donated. Thank you. And we will be in touch. So
good luck to your endeavours, James.
Here.
Yeah.
Just
Thank
before
you
you
very
go,
much.
Jenny,
Thank you.
Thank
have you got a
you.
target figure in mind?
Well, James is. Do you want to say the total you're looking for, James, to fully fund
Yes,
500 households?
Yes, of course, I quoted that in kwajas. In total, we're looking for 35 million kwacha.
I think I worked that out as an unreachable target for us of about £14,000. I mean, we're just not going to be able to meet that. the maize is really quite expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's expensive, yes, but anything that you manage from that side, the community will be appreciative, because I understand it's like there's hunger everywhere, so maybe the need might be huge, but anything that you can manage from that side, honestly, the community will be very grateful.
Yeah, I think between the GUMBI Education Fund and us, we'll get over halfway to that target anyway, I think, which is something. It's fortunate that the GUMBI Education Fund has just received this legacy, which is very helpful, actually. Very good timing, I suppose. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? So, I would hope we can get a bit more money in between now and Christmas from our end in ACAN. Yeah, so I'd like to get over 2,000, if possible.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Jenny, for
Thank
everything.
you very much. Very
Thank you
good.
very
Well
much.
done.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks to everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, James. All right. Now I need to stop recording, don't I? Rather importantly.